everyone, this is Tyler from Craft & Tailored, and on this episode of Under the Radar, I'm going to be talking about a jaeger-lecoultre alarm, reference E11013. The reference is a bit of a mouthful, but it's just a super cool alarm watch. If you've been following Craft & Tailored for a while, you know that we love alarm watches. I myself am a really big fan of them. I know Cam has done a couple of episodes of What Is on My Wrist.
Okay, you ready for this magical moment? Oh yeah, it's an alarm, baby. First alarm we've had on the channel, actually, matter of fact. Sounds like a cricket, maybe? Cricket? A cicada? Could be even a frog. I know frogs make noises like that.
I just want to kind of go over why I think they're just good watches to own and to get into. This one specifically is a really cool example, but Memovox alarms from like that 1950s, 1960s range, I think have a lot of potential, and I think they're really cool watches.
Will it focus on me?
Oh,
will it do too? Oh, look at it!
Wow, that's great. Leave?
It's gonna make for some great B-roll.
He's probably not gonna use it. In this time period, JLC was using a lot of cool different movements. You see these alarms with bumper movements. This one in particular is a Cal 911 manual winding movement. I just think the whole concept of alarms is really cool, kind of how you have like that dual crown system. Each alarm has two different mainsprings. There's a mainspring specifically for the alarm, and then there's a mainspring for the actual timekeeping on the watch as well. I just think ever since I started collecting, I always thought that was one of the most useful complications that any wristwatch manufacturer could have put into a watch. And even down to like the deep sea alarm where, you know, you're able to hear an alarm underwater while you're diving and whatnot. To me, that kind of is one of the coolest things that a watch can possess. So circling back into, why I think these watches are so special is I think JLC just did a really good job of marketing themselves as an alarm watch manufacturer. I believe Vulcan was the first watch manufacturer to create an alarm watch, but I think it was JLC that really pushed them to the next level and made it so that, you know, more everyday people were utilizing something like this, especially when we were kind of getting into the motor age where normal families could afford at least one car and people are using these to time their parking meters when those became a thing. But one thing that just draws me to these watches in general is their case sizes. JLC, I think because they had to house two different mainsprings, made a much larger case size for a lot of their alarms. And I think that they sit relatively well in terms of today's sizing standards. This one in particular being the E11013 is 37 millimeters in diameter, which is actually pretty large, especially coming from like this 1960s era. And it just has like a really, really good wrist presence. It could be worn as a more dressy piece, but I think just as an everyday watch, it kind of hits the mark perfectly. So JLC produced a lot of different sort of alarms. They made some smaller ones, they made some larger ones. I tend to draw myself more towards the larger case sizes because I think they tend to be a little bit more collectible, a little bit more interesting, and a little bit more wearable for just everyday use. So I am going to go ahead and do the alarm here. Hopefully it's not too loud. Yeah, so that's pretty loud. I feel like that would definitely like wake you up, or I don't know, get you out of a meeting, or just let you know that you gotta go somewhere or do something. But it's not a bad sound, it's a good sound. But to talk about this E11013 a little bit more specifically, I just think it's probably one of the best I've ever seen. It has, you know, flawless style. The case condition is incredible. It's functioning perfectly, and you know, the alarm works as it should. And I just think that these, you know, may not be like the most market-breaking watches. They're probably gonna stay between like that $2,000 and $3,000 range for a while, but I think they make really good everyday pieces, especially if, you know, you're after a vintage watch with a really good history. And one of the more important movement makers in, you know, horological history, being Jaeger-LeCoultre. And I just think that they're really fun watches. So with that, I want to say thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content just like this. Follow us on Instagram @CraftingTailored. And if you have watch questions, we are here to help. You can drop us a line at info@craftingtailored.com. See you in the next one.